Are you a lifelong fan of General Hospital?
Are you a new fan who wants to know more about the history of the show?
Do you enjoy talking about the show with others?
Do you find yourself yelling at the TV?
Is your self-care an hour a day in Port Charles?
If so, we invite you to join hosts
Amanda Kimmel
and Shannon Coach at the place where all the hidden conversations take place and secrets are revealed.
Meet us at Pier 54,
a General Hospital fan podcast.
Hello.
Hi.
Welcome to the Port Charles 411. Today we are discussing Nina and Ava's friendship, and I put that in quotes because
frenemy ship.
Not even. I mean, just it makes no sense.
Insane.
But we used a few sources, General Hospital Fandom, SoapCentral.com, and TheList.com. From General Hospital Fandom, used a variety of different character backgrounds, obviously Nina and Ava, but then also the relationship of Silas and Nina and Silas and Ava, and also a little bit of Nell and a little bit of Avery. And Silas is by himself. I think that's all that.
Yeah, that covered a lot. Thank you for looking it all up.
Well, I mean, you have to be thorough.
Yes.
Quick little background is that Ava arrived in Port Charles on May 8th, 2013. So this episode is being released May 9th, 2024. So we've had her for exactly 11 years and 1 day.
Wow. It doesn't feel like that long.
I know. And in May of 2014, Madeline Reeves tells Nathan West that his sister is really alive, but that she's just been in a coma for 20 years. So Madeline had told him that she died.
Could you imagine your mom being like, oh yeah, that sibling of yours that I told you died, they're really alive, just in a coma?
Mine would not be that big of a stretch, but I know where you're going.
Yes.
Yes. Typically, people do not find out crazy things like that as they become adults.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to write a book one day. So it was difficult to kind of try to piece together because, we'd had Ava for about a year. Nathan was going after Silas for the supposed murder of his sister Nina. So we saw him just, hating Silas and this, that, and the other thing. It turns out that while Nina was in her coma, Madeline Reeves, her mom, blamed Nina's husband, Silas, for the coma. Madeline tells Silas that she knew that he had had an affair with Ava Jerome and that they had had a daughter, Kiki.
Mm-hmm.
Kiki Jerome, Ava Jerome's daughter. Oh, and also this was Michael Easton's first truly GH character.
Correct.
So he had come on as John McBain. He ended the characters of Stephen Clay, and because Stephen Clay was from Port Charles, and then John McBain just got an exit. But then Silas Clay was Stephen Clay's brother.
Right.
So Madeline wants Silas to sign over his rights to Nina's inheritance, and he finds out also that she actually didn't die.
Mm-hmm.
And so he wants to know where his, wife is. And she's like, nope, you have to sign away any of the rights that you have to her inheritance, and maybe I'll tell you. And he's like, you're going to give me that information first. I really can't remember how it happened that he wound up finding Nina, but this is not just all about Nina, but it's important to have some of this information. Nina and Silas had met while they were at Columbia Medical School. We never hear Nina discussing the fact that she also went to Columbia Medical School.
No.
Nina's parents did not care for Silas because he came from a poor background. We've already heard Nina. It's been referenced that Nina had a very privileged upbringing.
Mm-hmm.
And Nina really didn't care about the fact that Silas was poor, and she even helped pay for his education. And they got married after they graduated. Then 2 or 3 years into Silas's practice as a doctor, Silas and Nina began experiencing some problems in their relationship, and he soon began an affair with Ava Jerome. Silas was unaware of the fact that while he was cheating with Ava, Nina also found out that she was pregnant, and his affair was causing her to become depressed. When Madeline learned of the pregnancy, she was very unhappy and actually set out to kill the baby, to kill Nina and Silas's baby.
Mm-hmm.
Not Ava's baby.
No.
So to do so, she had Nina overdose on antidepressants, but it backfired when Nina fell into a coma. And Madeline never told Silas about the pregnancy and denied him from seeing Nina for over 20 years. Not just denying, she straight up told him, your wife's dead.
Right.
During all that time is when Ava found out that she was pregnant with Silas's child. She knew that her pregnancy would be proof of their affair, So she hid the pregnancy and named someone else as the father of her child to protect Silas from facing suspicion for Nina's overdose. Ava later gave birth to Silas's daughter. However, she never told Silas that she was carrying his child, and the two went their separate ways. Fast forward to 2014. So when Ava and Kiki first came to Port Charles, it was assumed that Franco Baldwin was Kiki's dad.
Right.
So then fast forward 2014, Nina wakes up from the coma. Her first words are, Silas. And this was Michelle Stafford, Nina.
Yes.
And then when she's finally reunited with Silas, she learns that he had found out about a year before that he had this daughter, Kiki, with Ava. And she became super determined to become pregnant by Silas so that they could, quote, reconnect over their child. She saw it as a second chance for them after their miscarriage years earlier. And then Nina realized, hey, I need some therapy. So she went to do therapy with Franco, which if you think about it, she went to do therapy with the man who she thought the woman that was having an affair with her husband was actually the father of that child.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I mean, no, because real life, that's just crazy.
No, it doesn't make sense, but like I explained that correctly.
Yes.
Because Nina and Franco became like BFFs.
They did.
Yeah. Nina's longing for a baby of her own grows stronger, and her desire for revenge against Ava also increases. Ooh, okay. Yep. You want to pick up?
I was going to say you forgot to say that at that time she also learned that Ava was pregnant again.
Oh, yes. I'm sorry. That's what Franco let spill during the therapy, that Ava had become pregnant with Sonny's child while they did it on the grave of Michael's dad.
Ew. Ava
actually just straight up in the Quartermain crypt.
Right.
It wasn't even on, like, it was in all their grave. Okay. Good.
So Ava stayed at the brownstone to hide from Sonny, and Silas stayed to protect her. However, Nina and her mother, Madeline Reeves, schemed to get Silas away from Ava just long enough for Nina to induce Ava's labor and steal her newborn baby girl. Before she and Madeline leave with the baby, Ava claims that Madeline hired Ava to seduce Silas. She tries to appeal to Madeline as a mother and not let Nina take her baby, but Madeline refuses. Madeline is just ice cold. Mm-hmm. Ava tries to go after the two women, but she collapses on the docks and is found by Silas and Kiki, who rush her to the hospital. Silas and Kiki stay by her bedside when she is in the hospital to comfort her. When Ava learns that her role in Connie Falconeri's murder was outed, she knows the cops will be coming to arrest her, and she won't be able to search for her baby. So she leaves the hospital and flees to Silas's place, where he agrees to hide her. Silas and Ava travel to New York City to search for her baby. Morgan, Kiki, Silas, and Ava eventually catch up with Franco, Nina, and the baby in Canada. While Morgan, Ava, and Kiki confront Franco, Silas confronts Nina and gets Ava's baby away from her. Silas reunites baby Avery with Ava, and Franco and Nina are carted off to jail. In September 2016, Nina was trying to adopt a baby. Curtis had arranged for Nina to meet a woman to discuss adopting her baby. The baby started kicking as they talked, and the woman allowed Nina to feel. Ava passed by.
Curtis was actually trying to help facilitate a black market adoption?
Yep.
Okay. That's what when I read that, I was like, wait a second. He was actually trying to do that.
Yeah, he was really good friends with Nina, so I guess sometimes you do that kind of stuff. Ava passed by and saw what was happening. She approached Nina and ordered her to get her hand off the pregnant young woman. The woman was shocked as Nina and Ava argued, and Ava realized that Nina intended to adopt a baby off the books. Ava decided that the woman was entitled to know the truth about Nina and told the woman how Nina had injected Ava with a labor-inducing drug when Ava had been 8 months pregnant and kidnapped Ava's newborn daughter. Horrified, the woman told Nina that the meeting her had been a mistake, and she fled. In the park, Ava was unapologetic as she told Nina that actions have consequences. Nina demanded to know when Ava would pay for her actions because Ava had murdered an innocent woman, seduced a troubled young man, and ruined Nina's marriage and life. Ava insisted that telling the woman about Nina had been the right thing to do, and her conscience was clear. Ava started to walk away, but Nina grabbed Ava's hand. Nathan saw the confrontation and pulled his sister away before the argument turned violent. In August of 2018, it was revealed that Nina's baby with Silas wasn't miscarried, that she had given birth to a girl whom Nina put up for adoption. Well, it would have been Madeline put up for adoption.
Yes.
It was Madeline.
Yep.
Madeline
On
was
behalf
evil.
of
In 2019, Maxie suggests putting Ava on the cover of Crimson. Nina is not okay with it, and Ava is skeptical because she worries it will make her look bad. After Nina convinces her that the story will only be her words and that there will be an honest interview, Ava agrees to do it. Midnight in the Garden of Good and Ava portrayed Ava in a horrible light. Nina had a good laugh about it, but Ava did not. And then nothing was written up about what's been going on since 2022.
Yeah, so what has been going on with them since 2022? Neither Ava or Nina have anything written in the past 2 years.
Oh my gosh.
Right? And they've both done a lot.
Right. But I mean, we've watched their friendship grow because we've commented on how weird it is that you become BFFs with someone who literally stole your baby.
Right. So Ava encouraged Nina when she was coming back from Nixon Falls and the whole getting together with Mike / Sonny thing. Ava was supportive of her.
She was the one, like, constant, because Ava hates Carly so much and hated the control that she felt Carly had over Sonny. She was always like, oh yeah, it would be nice to see Sonny with you. That would be wonderful, blah, blah, blah. I'd feel so much more comfortable with everything, and like really cheered them on.
And then Nina decided to turn in Carly and Drew. However, she likes to tell Ava that it was her idea. Ava just supported the decision.
Right. And she even asked her like a few times before it actually happened, like, are you sure? Because if Sonny ever finds out, you will be dead to him. Like, you don't mess with the mother of Sonny's children. And Nina was still like, yes, this is what has to happen. Carly deserves to get her justice. And then Ava was like, I mean, I'll support you because you're my friend, but I just want to make sure you've thought of this from every angle.
Right. And the fact that there was any consequences, though, suddenly becomes Ava's job because
Nina can never take responsibility.
No. And now their relationship's falling apart because Nina doesn't seem to understand that you need to get along with the father of your child.
Right.
And that Sonny is trusting Ava a bit more now. But even before we learned that he was not taking his actual dosage, he was looking out for the mother of his child. He was not like, hey, Ava, let's become best friends. And then Nina took Sonny protecting Ava as a way for her to be able to get back into Sonny's good graces through Ava.
Right. It was Nina's idea that Ava come and live there. Like when they were talking about everyone being a target for whoever was trying to kill Sonny, she was one of the people that advocated you should have Avery and Ava come live here so that you know that they're okay.
Mm-hmm.
And Ava and Nina have done the whole flip-flopping apartments 10 different times. Nina lived there, and then Ava lived there, and then Nina lived there, and then Ava lived there.
Yep. But there was actually a great article written up on thelist.com by Cassie King. It was updated in August of 22. Seriously, nothing has been written about these women since 22. But it talks about Nina Reeves and Ava Jerome's unlikely friendship has become one of General Hospital fans' favorite things to watch on the soap. When Nina Reeves was first introduced in 2014, she was played by Michelle Stafford, who was on hiatus as her role as Phyllis Summers on The Young and the Restless. Nina had just woken up from a 20-year coma to find out that she had lost her baby and her husband, Silas Clay. Her biggest bone to pick upon waking was Ava Jerome, the woman who had an affair with Silas all those years ago and now had an adult daughter of her own to show for it. Nina's fury led her to do unthinkable things when she kidnapped Ava, then pregnant with her second child, with the intention of stealing her baby. After temporarily paralyzing Ava with drugs and then inducing labor, Nina did successfully take off little Avery Jerome Corinthos, but the authorities caught up with her. After being deemed not guilty by reason of insanity, Nina spent some time at the psychiatric facility before rejoining society and trying to rebuild her life in Port Charles. Unsurprisingly, there was no love lost between Nina and Ava. However, after several years passed, With each woman expecting their own trials, triumphs, and drama, something happened that allowed them to find common ground. The betrayal of the Cassadine men. The enemy of your enemy is your friend, as they say. And then it talks about Nina was betrayed by Valentine. In 2019, the role of Nina Reeves was recast with the talented soap vet and successful mainstream actress Cynthia Watros taking over. By this time, the character had struck up a romance with formidable Valentine Cassadine for the second time, and things had taken a turn for the worst. The couple had been married from 2016 to 17 when Nina agreed to help Valentine get cut. Yep.
16 to 18.
18. When Nina agreed to help get Valentine custody of his daughter, allowing her to finally be a maternal figure. The two fell in love for real. However, they split when Nina couldn't handle the continued association with Anna Devane. We need to do a background on Valentine and Anna.
There you go.
Determined to win her back, Valentine decided to find Nina's long-lost daughter that she gave birth to while in a coma to make amends. When he was unable to locate Nina's actual daughter, he instead paid Sasha Gilmore to pose as her. Over the following months, Nina and Sasha formed a strong bond, and the older woman was overcome with joy, finally having found her, quote, daughter in real life. At their second wedding reception, the truth about Valentine's lies was revealed, and Nina was heartbroken and furious about his betrayal. Later in 2019, Valentine believed he had successfully won Nina back for a third time when she seemingly forgave him and began planning their third wedding. In reality, she was only pretending to be in love and was actually plotting to destroy his life at the ceremony, just as he had done to her.
Dun, dun, dun. And then while Nina Reeves was dealing with the loss of her daughter, Ava Jerome was suffering the same fate, only under more tragic circumstances. Ava inadvertently found herself in a romantic relationship with the obsessive sociopathic serial killer Ryan Chamberlain, believing him to be his twin, Kevin Collins. I hate when that happens. Mm-hmm. She was completely gutted when he murdered her adult daughter, Kiki Jerome, on Thanksgiving 2018. While dealing with her grief, visions of her dead daughter began torturing Ava. She soon became convinced that someone was watching her and even started seeing hallucinations of Nicholas Cassadine, who had been killed by his uncle, Valentine Cassadine, right in front of her in 2016. Ava believed she was suffering a nervous breakdown and checked herself in to the infamous psychiatry facility Shady Brook. However, it turned out that Nicholas had survived his death and had been biding his time for 3 years until he could return to Port Charles and usurp his family's fortune. Ava was in possession of an important painting that contained information regarding the Cassadine estate, and Nicholas and Valentine were both on a mission to find it. Nicholas began haunting Ava by showing himself to her while she was medicated and taunted her by saying that her daughter Kiki was in hell in order to get information out of her. Nina discovered that Nicholas was alive when they found his Cassadine ring that he accidentally left behind when visiting Ava. When Ava realized that he was very alive and that it was Nicholas that had been terrorizing her, she became more determined than ever to take down the Cassadines.
And then Nina and Ava paired up to get revenge. Ava came into possession of a valuable portrait of Helena Cassadine, and it was revealed that the painting contained a codicil to Mikos Cassadine's will that disinherited Valentine Cassadine from the family fortune. He and Nicholas Cassadine, along with various accomplices, were both determined to get their hands on it. When Nina Reeves realized that Ava had all the leverage, she suggested that the two women pair up and use the codicil to take revenge against the men. It turned out that the codicil not only disinherited Valentine, but also proved that he wasn't even a biological Cassadine after all. Nina planned to reveal this fact to her at the New Year's Eve wedding to Valentine at Windermere Castle, but she didn't get a chance. Valentine cornered Ava for information on the codicil, and when she couldn't comply, he pushed her off the parapet for her presumed death. Luckily, Nicholas was there to rescue her, and the two crashed the ceremony.
That was so good.
That was very good. When Nicholas's family was busy rejoicing that he was alive and Laura slapped him, Valentine came to realize that Nina had been playing him all along, and she was finally able to gloat about her revenge. For Ava's part, she agreed to give Nicholas the codicil that would reinstate him as the rightful heir to the Cassadine heir and ensure that his son Spencer would receive his inheritance. However, her one condition was that he had to marry her, thus winning herself half the estate that he had been so desperate to reclaim.
Nina and Ava now have a genuine friendship. Nina Reeves and Ava Jerome' unlikely partnership proved beneficial for them both. Nina took everything away from Valentine Cassadine that he ever wanted, and Ava snatched half of Nicholas Cassadine's lofty inheritance for herself as payment for the torturous tricks he played on her. Thus began a friendship between the two women that outweighed any of their past animosity. In the years since their victorious coup, Nina and Ava have become confidants for each other and enjoy not only hanging out but supporting each other during their hardships. Ava helped Nina come to terms with her feelings for Sonny Corinthos, who is the father of the daughter Nina once kidnapped. She didn't even give her grief when it was revealed that Nina knew Sonny was alive for 6 months while his family grieved his death. In return, Nina supported Ava through the ups and downs of her marriage to Nicholas, which began as a business arrangement and ended up becoming genuine when the two surprisingly fell in love. Both Nina Reeves and Ava Jerome have checkered pasts filled with betrayal, loss, and plenty of crimes, but it seems that having each other in their corner has helped them deal with the never-ending drama in their lives, and General Hospital fans seem to delight in witnessing their newfound friendship, even though we question it all the time, because I don't care how much someone has helped you out. I would not be able to forget the animosity between us that you stole my baby.
Right. So there was 2 different articles which both actresses talked about. Mara spoke to Soap Hub, and she just basically said, it certainly helped that it was a new and different incarnation of Nina. So the recast is kind of also what helped move that along. And we've said that before, whenever they recast and they're given the opportunity to kind of switch up the character a little bit.
Right.
And she says, it would have been more difficult if Michelle Stafford played her. But she thinks that they actually could be friends. Personally, Mara West believes in forgiveness. I believe in second chances. I believe in open-heartedness. And so I'd like to think that even though Ava is a bad egg, she's also capable of great compassion and empathy and forgiveness.
Wow.
And she says, these 2 women are kind of outcasts, right? So they have that in common. They're always frightened. They're always scraping to get by. And so that's a good friend to have, is someone who shares that experience with you. And then Cynthia's is more recently, actually just May 2nd, so just a couple days ago, GH Cynthia Watros on the end of Nina and Ava. And she says that Nina and Ava's friendship was always a little unusual for some GH viewers who remember Nina forcing Ava to give birth and then kidnapping newborn Avery. But that was many years and 1 actress ago. And over time, Nina and Ava had forged a pretty solid friendship. With most of Port Charles turning against her and her marriage to Sonny, Nina thought she could still lean on Ava. That is until she began to suspect that Ava had been manipulating her for her own ends. In the April 22nd, 2024 episode, an emotional confrontation ensued as Nina leveled her accusations and ended the friendship as she finally signed the divorce papers. But Cynthia says, the breakup with Sonny was difficult. The breakup with Ava was also very difficult. When I read those scripts, Cynthia had to mourn that. I've mourned both breakups. There's something special I looked forward to when I worked with a platonic girlfriend. Which, they're not going to work together anymore.
Yeah.
And then in both of their interviews, they both talk about the fact that they both attended Boston University, that they were in different years, but that they have personally, the actresses have a past together. So that was nice. But she said that I had more material to shoot after our scene, like the one that she signed the divorce papers. And I just sat in Nina's chair. Then Mara came over to me and gave me a hug, and I hugged her back. It's still a hard breakup. Who knows what'll happen? But right now, Nina and Ava can't be friends anymore.
Aw, that's so cute that she misses it.
Yeah. I get that. It's somebody else in my office and I talked about this once because with our clients, we talk to them almost every single day, multiple times a day, and of course you get to know their lives more and everything. And then we have closing and then we hear from them occasionally, but it's like, but what happened? Are you really, you don't like me anymore? And it's no, it's just that portion of the relationship had to end. So,
right.
I get that. I understand. I like that both of them acknowledged it and talked about it too.
Right.
So, so I guess we will see what happens with Nina and Ava. Are they going to go back to being mortal enemies? Are they going to come to some kind of just an agreement of...
I think if Nina finds out that Ava knew that Sonny wasn't taking the right meds, that she is not going to be able to forgive her, because you could blame the fact that he wouldn't forgive Nina on that, and you can blame the fact that he is entertaining a relationship with Ava on that. So the whole thing manipulated his life.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I don't know how she's going to come back from that.
Oh my gosh. Do you think that this could actually wind up leading to Carly and Nina finding common ground?
Well, that's a bit of a stretch. I don't know if that can happen. But you're right.
Like,
they're going to.
It's like it said, the enemy of your enemy is your friend.
Right. Maybe that would be interesting.
Yeah. I don't know why I didn't think about that before. Could be.
Could be.
I guess we're going to have to see though.
Yep.
So yeah, join us on Monday as we recap this week's shows, and let's see if they've made any progress, I guess, towards coming back to friends or further towards being enemies.
There you go. So have a good weekend.
And we'll meet you at the pier.
Bye.
Bye.
If you enjoyed today's show, we invite you to go to pier54podcast.com to subscribe on your favorite platform. Don't forget to leave us a review.
And you can also follow us on many social media channels. Just search for Pier 54 Podcast. Also, we are not perfect, so if there is something that we missed or messed up, just let us know by emailing us at pier54podcast@gmail.com.